Good morning, everybody. It is the 18th of March, 2016. This is the morning drive where I basically drive to work. It's about a 15 to 20 minute drive. And during that time, I read your comments from the video before. If I'm running out of comments, I just start to ramble. But I don't think I'm going to run out of comments today. You guys have given me 2 pages of comments, so yeah. So that being said, let's get started with the first one here. Tabletop banter. If you had to choose between video games and tabletop gaming, which would you choose and why? Oh, that's actually a tough one. I was thinking, you mean if like I had to choose between playing one and never getting to play the other, I would probably pick video games. Just because it was my like original favorite hobby. It still is. It's kind of the thing I used to unwind after a long day, even if it like before working in mini wargaming and all that stuff. And it's a little bit, it has a little bit more variety to it, I guess. Like you can play casual games, you can play first-person shooters, you can play RTSs, you can play, like there's a whole bunch of different games out there where I find tabletop gaming hasn't had that chance yet, hasn't had that market open to it as long, and hasn't had that many people invested into creating different games. It's starting to, like you're starting to notice a lot of different types of games, different types of tabletop adventures that you can go on. Like you're getting more of the fantasy stuff now, you're getting some of the sci-fi stuff, you're getting all the different varieties, you're getting role-playing games, you're getting, you know, the casual 30-minute skirmish type game, you're getting the larger apocalypse style of these games that can take anywhere from hours to days on end. So it is starting to grow in that sense, but I would have to stick with video games on that one just because it's my personal preference. Next comment is from Atriarch the Zebra. I hope I got that right. Hey Quirk, love the shades. I decided to try my hand at tabletop gaming based on what you said a bit ago about wanting to see a game involving cars and destruction. I don't know, hopefully it's good enough. And then you have a link here for me to check it out. I will definitely check it out, and I will get back to you on Monday with that one. That guy on YouTube. If you could have one superpower in a non-zombie apocalypse, what would it be? I would have control of the air, as I could fly and make bubbles around people's heads and remove the air, and the bubble would choke them. Also do you have to pay if you order? Do I have to pay if I order mini wargaming magnets? Sometimes it depends on what the magnets are for. Like if it's for my own personal thing, then yeah, I'd have to pay for it because it doesn't really benefit the company anyway, and it's not something that they can write off. But anything that's like magnetizing work-related miniatures, no, it's a write-off, and it's just I kind of grab what I need. So it depends on what the project's for, or what the magnets are for. So, and if I had to have a superpower, control the air seems really cool, but at the same time, I don't know. That does seem really cool, actually. I would want to have super speed, like just the ability to, almost like Quicksilver, where he could just run all over the place and so on and so forth. I would want that, just because it would be the whole you can't, you know, you can't kill what you can't hit type thing. So I think that'd be really cool. And if it's in a non-zombie apocalypse environment, it would just be really fun to screw with people, because it would be like, oh, we're gonna go here. All right, well, I'll meet you guys there, because I'm gonna be there in like 2.1. I'm there. So that type of thing. Oh, so much traffic today. Also, happy official, like, National Hangover Day. Yeah, it was St.Pattys last night. I definitely partook. I had my green beer. I'm happy. And I had another, and another, and another. So, yeah, I definitely partook in the St. Patrick's Day festivities. So, that was good. Ooh, rocks are flying all over the place now. Alrighty, Jacob Arthur. Quirk, 2 questions. 1, do heresy salamanders get jet bikes in their lore? From what I know, from what I can remember, I don't think they do, but in actual gameplay, yeah, you can totally use jet bikes, it's not a problem. I'm sure there's some story where they did have jet bikes, it's just not a commonly used thing by salamanders. So, you can give it to them if you want to, just because the jet bikes look awesome and they're really, really good in the game. but lore-wise, I don't think it was something that they used very heavily, if at all. And 2, have you ever played Cards Against Humanity? If not, you should, and if so, what were some of the funniest cards you saw played? I have played Cards Against Humanity, and a couple of my favorite cards are the, like, firing off your shotgun into the air while balls deep into a squealing hog. That's a good one. That's like an auto win. Pac-Man Uncontrollably Guzzling Cum is another. So, those are some really good ones. Those are like auto win cards. Doesn't matter what comes up. It could be like the cure for cancer is, and it's just like this. You automatically win because it's just hilarious on its own. Alrighty. Cody Asher. Quirk, give us a little insight on what you're doing at mini wargaming lately and maybe some future plans. Also, what 40k army do you hate/love to fight the most? A little bit of insight. You will have seen the start of the War Machine campaign now. That went up on Tuesday, I think. I believe it was Tuesday or Wednesday that went up. That's kind of what I've been working on right now, is just kind of getting that whole ball rolling. It's actually taking a lot more work than I thought it would, just to try and balance it. Like, the rules that we're playing with right now are a mix of the Nomad Open Caster Creator rule set, with a few little tweaks that I threw in there, and then the actual gameplay itself. It's not traditional gameplay where it's like, oh, we're gonna have, you know, this caster against this caster at 15 points. It's more of a, okay, I need to kind of forge a little bit of a narrative, so little things need to happen, like when you're, like, for example, if you saw the Vault video, Josh's caster Rusty had to go through the forest to try and hunt boars to, like, test out his abilities to handle a warjack, and certain things happened where it was like, okay, well, this is just like kind of picking off whatever and a little bit of a test, and then something bigger came out, and then something bigger came out, so they kind of did one of those. And then the same thing kind of happens with my caster, who that video hasn't come up yet, so I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody. So that's what I've been working on mostly. I've also been working on getting my Alpha Legion done, because I have another 30 Tactical Marines that I have to finish painting, as well as another Contemporary Dreadnought, a lightning pattern gunship. Wow, sorry. I also have a transport ship that I need to actually start working on, and I got a bunch of drop pods and stuff like that. I have a lot of stuff to work on for my Alpha Legion and my Ultramarines. Like right now, I think I have a fairly solid 2,000 points. When I say a solid 2,000 points, isn't like it's mostly the same list. I can just switch out the odd thing here and there, and it stays at 2,000 points. It plays generally the same, but it adds a few extra tricks here and there that I can do. Whereas once I get this stuff done, it will give me the option to actually start bringing, like, specialized armies. So kind of like what Steve did with his mortars, where it's just blasts everywhere. Can kind of do something a little bit similar to that. Not with the blasts, but can actually do a little bit more of a specialized army. So, looking forward to that. And, yeah. I do have to do an open vault today. So there will be an open vault going up some point today, because I'm definitely going to have to film one as soon as I get in. But I think that's about all I've got going on this week, and that's all that really happened this week. We started doing a little bit of play testing for Gorka Morka, which is surprisingly fun, but dice rolls are not my friend. They are not at all my friend. So, can't win them all, right? Honey Link. Hey Quirk, have you tried out Battlefleet Gauntlet? What do you think of it compared to the tabletop? I have tried it. I love it. It's awesome. I got the beta. I started playing it a little bit. I played through the, like, 3-mission campaign you get to do. Got really, really excited. Honestly, I had everybody in the back office kind of watching as I was doing like the first time I'm ever going to do a ram. And I went through it and I zoomed all the way in so you could see all the graphics to it. You can actually see the ship getting hit, like explosions blowing out on both ship sides. You can brace your guys so they don't get hit as bad. I was like, wow, this is really cool. I actually like it a little bit more than the tabletop, just because it actually plays out like a full-on RTS, whereas the tabletop is kind of turn-based, and it's like, okay, you have the time to think about it and see what you're doing and all this stuff, whereas in the game it's like RTS, okay, we have to go, this is actually happening right now, and I like that. I like the whole orbit system. Like when you go around something, its orbit can actually affect how hard you turn and how fast you turn and what you're doing. I thought that was really cool too. And what army do I hate and love to fight the most? I hate fighting Necrons. Necrons are annoying just because it's like they don't die at all. That's really annoying. My favorite army to fight against would probably be, I don't get to do it very often, but either orcs or Tyranids, just because that feels like a battle. Doesn't matter what you're playing against, what's going on, there's enough there where if you do like an orc on orc, it feels like a giant battle between two clans or tribes. If you're doing orcs against Nids, it just feels like an awesome battle that the Imperium just hasn't gotten a chance to take part in yet, so you don't have to worry about all the crazy weird shenanigans and stuff like that. So, and it's just neat to see two Xenos races going at it. And I totally just read the same question again, my bad. So I read Pony Oni's links, and then I went back up and read Cody Asher's comment there. My bad. Sorry, I'm like stuck in between two transport trucks right now, and the one in front of me is not getting the hint to get out the way. Move, truck, get out the way. Seriously, move. Move, 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 move. Move. Are you gonna move? You're not gonna move. I hate this. Oh, hey, he's moving. There we go. Freedom. Freedom. Okay. And once I get out of here, I'll move into the not passing lane, so I'm not getting peppered by stones anymore. There we go. Done. Elorand. I don't know how. I'm sorry, dude. Hey, Quirk, are you into history at all? It's just that you used Roman-style names on your Death Watch squad, and then you said you'd like to visit Rome. Is it some reason, or is it just a happy coincidence? Also, what... Oh. Also, I know what you mean with Guilliman. I have a Primarch too, and I just can't bring myself to do it. Yeah. The Primarch models have, like, this weird thing about them where it's like, okay, I'm going to start painting the most important model in my army. It's not like one of those, like, okay, I'm gonna, like, for your greatness, like oh, I'm gonna paint Kaldor Drago, who's, yeah, he's the Grand Master, but he's only, like, the same size as everybody else. No, this one's like, this model came with a display base. It needs to look pretty. As for, like, the Roman-style names and all that, I'm not a huge history fan. Most of the names that I, like, named my guys off of, like Dante and Virgil and Warden were all from Devil May Cry, and Dante's Inferno. And then there was Prometheus and Kratos. Prometheus was actually just because he's a salamander, and everybody else kind of came up with the name. I was like, yeah, I like it, let's do this. So I named him Prometheus. And then Kratos I took from God of War. So that's where their names all came from. CJ Phoenix, morning. Have you seen the Lost Patrol remake Games Workshop is going to put out? What are your thoughts on the GW board game so far? Personally, I feel they are a little weak and could have done a little more, or put a little more time into them before release. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat for that one. I feel like they were just like, hey, you know what, let's put out a bunch of really cool models and a crappy board game, because everybody's going to want to buy the models and not care about the board game. So we'll just do whatever for the game, it doesn't really matter. And they need to understand that, yeah, some people are going to buy the board game because they want to play the board game. That's how it works. So maybe take the time and, you know, don't half-ass one of your products or most of your products recently. So, and I have not seen the Lost Patrol remake. I'll have to check that out when I get into the office. Next up is Sebastian B. Where the name Stripper Dave come from? What's the backstory? I just wish this would die. Okay, when Owen used to work at Mini Wargaming, I got a job working at a bar. And it turned out, well, it didn't turn out, I knew this ahead of time, but that bar was also attached to a strip club. So it was basically, you walk in and there was a club, dance club, whatever, and I was a bartender there. But then if you went further back and downstairs, there was a strip club. And I had told Owen about, I made the mistake of telling Owen about this. And basically there was a couple times when I was on a show and I'd be sitting there doing whatever, and I'd have to leave. And he started making the joke where he's just like, oh, you gotta go to the strip club? Gotta go dance for your money? I was like, no, it's not, whatever. So that's when he started saying the name Stripper Dave, when didn't work at a strip club, worked at a bar. just near a strip club. So that's how that name came about, and for some reason it keeps popping up every now and then. But whatever. Not much I can do about it. It's the internet, right? Mentality. Hiya, Quirk. I know you said you don't like import cars. How about bikes? Any love for the Kawasaki or Kawis? I like the Hayabusa. The Hayabusa is a very, very nice bike. But I don't have a big spot in my heart for import bikes. I don't like the crotch rockets personally. Like, just that's mostly what the look of any of the imports are, is sport bikes or super bikes, and I'm more of a cruiser, like Sportster street type bike. So I like to enjoy the ride. I don't want to try and go as fast as humanly possible, because I don't know, it's not really my thing. I've ridden a couple, and I find I can only ride them for maybe an hour or two before I start to get really uncomfortable. And yeah, they're cool, and yeah, I feel like I'm in a movie, and it's just like, oh, I'm going really fast, but that gimmick kind of dies after the first 10 minutes. It's like, okay, now it's just kind of a pain to drive this thing. But that's personal preference. Like, again, that goes back to personal preference. I like my Harley. I like being able to just hop on my Harley and go, and I don't need to like have to worry about going way too fast, or I don't know. It comes down to this: the Harley Davidsons and like all those types of bikes, like all the cruisers, they have this whole persona to them, and I kind of agree with it, where they're like the lazy boy of motorcycles, where it's a relaxing ride. It's nice to sit on it and just go for a ride and have the wind, go through your strip of hair type thing. Obviously I have to wear a helmet, so I don't get to feel it through my hair, but I get to feel it on my face and stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Whereas crotch rockets, like, okay, their whole persona is gear up, put on a lot of armor, because if you wipe out, you're gonna die. And I don't really enjoy the ride when I hop on those. They look really nice. They're incredible machines, but they don't really have a place in my heart. Billy Pate. Hello, Quirk. Do you think Games Workshop might bring out a new race or races in their tabletop games? Probably not. I feel like right now they've had a lot of luck with just remaking and re-releasing their armies, where they're not going to be like, oh, we should totally bring out a new race and just have everybody spend their money on it. Let's make it a little bit more powerful than everybody else, so they have to buy it because it's going to be the new tournament thing. I think that that's something they're just keeping in their back pocket for a rainy day. But right now, with the success they're having with just, hey, you know what, check it out, Space Wolves, we have 5 new models for you, and it's just like, 5 new models, and everybody just loses their mind. So I think they're doing a really good job right now with just kind of teasing and releasing the odd model here and there. It's getting everybody really excited. They're kind of doing the same thing that Privateer Press does, where they release a small handful of models for a few people, whereas Privateer Press is just like, okay, every faction gets 1 new model minimum. They're kind of like, okay, well, these next 3 months are going to be just about Space Wolves, and Space Wolves get, and it's just fill in the blank, they get the Wolfen, they get new formations and all this stuff. So I don't see them coming out with a new race until this current train runs out of gas, or runs out of steam, or whatever you want to say. So no, I don't think they're coming out with a new race anytime soon. Tami Tahu, I'm sorry, dude, I can't do this. Ohayao, Japanese for good morning. Oh, hey, there we go. Just watched the latest episode of, well, I'm reading, leave me alone. Someone's honking at me. Okay. Just watched the latest episode of Augustine Station, and there were some interesting developments. Gene Stealers and Harlequins helping the Death Watch? Heresy. Do you think this is going to happen overall? Going to happen in the overall plot? If you all don't lose your Marines, that is. I don't know. Oh, there's more here. Hang on. Let me actually turn to the parking lot. And yep, they flipped me off. Well, bye. Going into the driveway to go to work. Wow, a lot of cars here. Awesome. Alrighty. So I will finish this off because I got some more comments. Regarding the War Machine campaign, it's awesome. I don't have the faintest clue how War Machine works, but I still enjoyed it. Any chance of uploading a quick series on how to play War Machine, like when Matt released a short series on how to play Warhammer 40k? Private Press actually released a really good intro tutorial thing on how to play War Machine that you can check out. It's probably better than anything I can come up with really quickly. And then last comment here is from Thorium1986. Now that you're back on Rockstar, it's acceptable to ask this. What are your top 3 favorites of Rockstars? Mine are Sour Raspberry, Blueberry, and Original. I'm a huge fan of the Green Citrus Punch. I like the new Watermelon one that they came out with, and their Fruit Punch one. So those are my top 3. But anyway, guys, that's it for the comments this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As always, leave a comment below if you want me to answer any questions you might have, or just read a comment on the show. Next episode won't be till Monday, so gives you a chance to kind of enjoy a weekend. But until then, guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful weekend, and happy wargaming.